Welcome to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and my special guest today, the head baseball coach at Ohio University Lancaster, Brad Bunning. Brad, how you doing, bud?
I'm good. I'm good.
It's you guys had a great year. I know that.
Yep.
And it's but let's talk a little bit about how you got to where you are now.
Okay. I started off. I played ball all through high school. Went to college, tried to play football and baseball. The injury bug got me, so I've stayed with it. All through college, I still coached with the little guys, the junior high, the JVs, the varsities, and now I'm the head baseball coach at a college. When I tell everybody, I say, hey, I'm a baseball coach at a college. It doesn't matter if it's a branch campus. It's that next step. Everybody wants to make that next step, and this is my next step.
Originally from the Barnesville area, and you went to Marietta, and then transferred to the Harvard on the Hocking.
Harvard, yes. And that was the best move I ever made, to go down to the main campus. I absolutely loved the time I spent there. I got my degree in physical education, adapted physical education, special education, that's what I'm doing now, is teaching special ed.
Yeah, and you're at Forest Road?
Forest Road School.
Yeah. How long have you been there?
This is my third year there.
Third year at Forest Road?
Forest Road, and third year at OUL.
And you've been doing baseball and football for over 20 years.
Yes, sir. High school football, high school baseball, and the step up to the college is it's a whole different perspective. Wins and losses are more intense, but it's not as intense as it was at the high school level. Where
Sure.
the parents are every kid. They're not their kids anymore. It's their, it's their client. The parents are agents. So.
Now, when you were at OU, you got to play for a pretty good coach down there.
Coach Carbone.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about that. What was that? Was that like, whoa, wait a minute, or good guy, bad guy, yeller, screamer?
Well, I only got to play for him during fall ball till I got hurt.
Yeah.
He was different. He was a unique individual. He didn't scream a lot, didn't yell a lot. He just he made his point pretty clear, and you knew when you was in trouble or if you was not working to your potential. He found ways to get the best out of you while you could.
So. Talk a little bit about the Ohio Regional Campus Conferences. I know it's a little different than the main campus, but talk a little bit about how that started.
Okay, so it started back in 1973. The ORCC, the Ohio Region Campus Conference, started with just a handful of teams. And then in 1975, that's when Ohio University Lancaster joined in. And right now we are at 8 teams. And not all the teams play in all the sports, because OU offers golf, they offer men and women's tennis, they offer men and women's basketball, volleyball, softball, baseball. It's just, and we've got over 90 student athletes there right now.
Are they playing multiple sports? Do some play volleyball and softball?
There is a number of young ladies that have played all three. It's amazing with them being in college and playing 3 sports. They're also on the all academic for the ORCC. So our campus this year, out of my 18 players, 9 of my 18 players are all conference academic.
Wow, that's great.
We haven't got our all conference players yet, but they've got our academics. Sure. So it's a great program for these guys and gals that don't want to go to a main campus or a big campus, for them to come and play ball, get a good education, and it's a lot cheaper than going to main campus.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I know that you've coached from bitty ball up to. Talk about the different levels of coaching and how you approach those.
As I've gotten older, I used to be. When I first started, I was that coach that was the college coach. He wanted to be perfect, and that's hard with you got younger guys. And So as I have gotten older, I do all my coaching through the week because
Okay.
it's hard to try to coach during the game because the kids have been taught what to do now through the week, and then I just let them try to go and play. And then we make mental notes, and we talk in between innings, and I say, hey, you're pushing your hands too far away, and these guys are willing to make that adjustment.
That was my next question. Are they willing to? Okay.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you've got all these kids have chose to come to here to play, whereas in high school, my buddy played. I'm going to play because my buddy played. So
Yeah.
right now, I've got 18 players that want to. They run on and off the field, man. It's a whole different atmosphere. I do my own recruiting, and I'm not sure how many people, like at a branch campus, would go and recruit. But my players that are there now, they enjoy going with me to recruit. We recruit either their home school or their crosstown rivals, and it's fun to see that now. Because you're going to see your rival, and these guys that are rivals are playing together. And
Sure.
so.
Talk about a little bit about parents. Just, I mean, obviously no specifics, but from junior high to college now, do you get a lot of parents that give you advice during college games?
No. And probably my biggest thing with college games is the guys don't realize that it's not high school anymore. So the parents will come down and want to talk to them in between innings. Which, when I'm trying to talk to them, the parents are yelling for them to come over, and I'm like, look, this is college. You guys can't go out and sit and talk to your girlfriend or your parents and stuff. So, and playing at Beavers Field and a lot of these bigger complexes, the field is out, or
Right.
the stands are away, so they have to travel a little bit further. But no, like, parents don't come up and talk to you after the game and try to give you advice. I think they're just pleased that their kids are, able to go to that next level. And we've had a few that left the branch campus to go down and play on the main campus.
No kidding.
Yeah. So,
That's what do you like best about recruiting?
the new kids.
The new
Go
kid,
see
yeah.
these kids because you get to see them with their high school teammates and how they react with them. And then when you talk to them, it's a spark. You see that spark in their eye like, hey, you may be just a branch campus coach, but you're talking to me to come play. So it's exciting for them. It's exciting for me. And it's full circle. Back in the 90s when I was being recruited to play, it was a different perspective.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was a high school coach, which I was putting my kids that I coached, their names out there to be recruited. Well, now I've got a son that is a sophomore at Lancaster High School that's being recruited for soccer and track. So and now I'm on the side of the recruiting the players in. So it's neat to see all the angles and everything that.
That's my youngest daughter, Katie, played at Kentucky Wesleyan, and we went through the recruiting process. They're a D2 school, and I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned a lot. But how far do you go? I mean, you go to West Virginia, Kentucky? Or?
Yes, I've got, since I'm from Barnesville, I'll still travel over to the West Virginia because Barnesville plays in the OVAC, so I'll go and watch some games over that way. So I'll get some of the Weird Madonnas, the Magnolias,
Oh, yeah.
the Brooks, and so I'll go over there. But it's tough because I can't offer a scholarship, where
Right.
you got Bethany, West Lib, Wheeling Jesuit that can offer scholarships to those guys. And I'll get some players from over that way. But my main focus is here in Central Ohio. I've taken players as far south as Cincinnati. I had a player last year from Cincinnati that played for us. And with us not having dorms, he was able to get an apartment, and the person was great. They gave him a month-to-month lease and gave him a really good deal on.
That's fantastic.
So they worked with the campus to get kids over here. So it's not just the campus by itself. It's all of Lancaster works together to try to make these kids fit in. So I've went as far, like I said, as far south as Cincinnati. Right now I've got kids from Hocking County, Pickaway County, Fairfield County, Franklin County, and Licking County.
Wow.
Probably my best recruiting tool is Beavers Field.
That's what I wondered. It's a great complex.
Oh, so when those kids come up here to play, and I'm like, look, you could be here for the next 4 years and play here. So and with now that he's got that new marquee sign that says who's playing
Yeah.
there, or with us winning the league, he's got that up on the marquee.
Right.
So when these teams come in to see, where they're coming to play either for the sectionals, the district, or regional, it's they get to see that. So
Now, can kids call you? Or
Yes, sir.
Can parents call you?
Yes, sir.
They can?
Yep. We use different thing. I get out. There's a recruiting website called Field Level, and it has different baseball players. It has their years, but then you can either contact the coach or contact the player directly. And this morning I had a player contact me that wants to come up and check out the campus over the summertime. So my son, it was funny. My son said, "I'm not used to that guy, Dad." And I said, "What guy?" And he's like, "Well, you just talk to this guy like a business guy." He said, "I'm not used to." He said, "I'm used to you being my dad." And he said it was different. So I don't know if he likes that.
You like that or not?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Obviously, you guys have been very successful.
Hmm?
Talk a little bit about practice schedules. I mean, I'm sure you've got kids that are working, or do you practice all at the same time? How do you do that? I know Jeff Whitehead is hard to deal with. I know that.
Yeah.
No, Jeff, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Well, he is hard to deal with because he's a stickler on that basketball court.
Yeah.
So I think they're just going to name the gym after him here shortly, just because I think he's been there since they built the gym. So, no, that's a great question, because when I coached at high school, I had my own field. So every day, 3 o'clock, you're on the field from 3 to 5. You go get on the field and you practice. You had your own field. Well, we have a makeshift field up on top of the hill that everybody walks their dogs in, and and so you're trying to run around the bases and run around other things. But Jeff he does a great job of giving us a schedule of when we can use the gym. He gives me a week's notice of, hey, graduation's coming up. We got to get set up for this. You can't hit in here, but you can hit in different places. But my guys that do work, we have a thing that is a group message board, and each player will let me know if they're going to be late or if they have to work. But we also do a thing. We have an accountability partner. So if you and I are on the same team at the start of the year, so you get to know everybody, you have to draw a name. So I reach in the hat and I pull a name. So I get one of my players. So just say I get Jared.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure when I'm at practice, I need to know where Jared's at. So if Jared's not at practice, he and I both get punished. But Jared is not my accountability partner. Jared could be your accountability partner. So everybody has to know everybody. So when they text their accountability partner, then that accountability partner texts me. So it's not, I don't want to be their babysitter. I just am worried about them traveling. It's a big scare with people traveling. When you get home late at night because we don't ever play close by. It seems like we're always either 2 hours away. So when you get home, it's 11 o'clock. So these kids have been at school all day, getting home at 11 o'clock, and then they have to travel back to their places. So I worry about that.
Obviously, college life is a little different for these high school kids. I mean, because they're given food money or meal money and travel time and all those things. How do you work in classes? Because some kids, don't they go to night school too?
Yes, sir. What we do is we try to set 2 different sets of practice times. So I will go from 3 to 5 for like infielders, and then outfielders will go from 5 to 7. Or if you have a class from 3 to 5, you just come with the outfielders. And we usually try to set practices for like the hitting and stuff, because everybody can hit. But then also if we have non-league games, if they have classes on non-league game day, they don't miss class. They go to class for non-league. But league games, they'll come.
Sure.
So that's why I keep so many players. So we cover it.
That's what you mentioned. You have 18. Now, how many of those are pitchers?
12.
Oh my God, 12?
Yeah, but they play multiple positions. My number 1 pitcher, he can play first base, but then he also goes to the outfield because he's fast and he's got a strong arm. So my 1 and 2 can play multiple positions. And usually, if I have Ryan pitch on Monday and we have to play again Tuesday, he don't go to the outfield, he'll go to first. So unless it's a big game, and Ryan is a competitor, so he'll tell me, hey, we got to go.
Right. communicate with high school coaches locally around, and just is that your connection?
That's my recruiting. So what I will do is now, since the season's almost getting over for us and the high schools are starting to get into the tournaments, I will email them. I'll send out emails to specific coaches and say, hey, do you have any kids that, want to go and play baseball that's not going to go to a D1, D2, D3, that's still wanting to play but just don't feel like they're ready for the next step. And then we try to get them ready for that next step. If they want to leave after 1-2 years, then they go and leave. And I sign their letters and release them out. And because I tell these guys when they commit, you don't owe me anything. I want you guys to get an education. That's my number one thing. Number two is to have fun and get yourself better if you want to go play ball somewhere else.
What about young kids, like little leaguers that, the parents have this dream they're going to play at Ohio State or Ohio University, or how do you, talk to them about, okay, what camp should I go to, or what's the best exposure I get for my 9-year-old?
I tell them with little guys and guys and gals that want to go to the next level, I tell them to start off with talking to their high school coach, or a branch campus like ours. Coach Sisson, he has hitting camps and one-on-one camps and stuff all the time. And so he's my assistant, and he's our hitting coach, but he's also our outfielders coach. So he has different younger guys from little kids, 8, 9, all the way up to the high school that'll come in and work. So for people in the area, I would tell them to just go to their high school's camps, because what you're going to do is that next step, the high school coach gets to see what talent they've got coming in. Right. It's better to do that than to go off to these great big camps, because a lot of these great big camps is just there for the money, and you're going to get the same stuff nearby as you're going to get as you go to these big ones, because it's baseball. Nobody else has created anything different since Abner Doubleday. Baseball is baseball. It's not like I'm going to go out and create something new.
Do you have camps? Do you put camps
We're going to try. We're going to try to start.
Is there a website, or if people want more information?
We have not had any camps yet, because now we're able to start doing fundraisers. So we're going to start. We're going to try this summer to have a camp, and when we do have that, my guys at the campus do a great job of setting up a website. Right now, if you go to OUL Baseball, we have our own Instagram. We've got a Twitter account. They're on Facebook. They're on, I don't know what all this new modern technology is. But they do a great job of pushing our name out there. And it's amazing what these guys can do with computers and stuff while we're at games.
Sure. Yeah.
I got a bullpen guy that sits down in the bullpen. He'll take pictures or whatever before the game, before he goes to throw. And it's on there. And, you get back and I'm like, wow, when did you have time? And he's like, Coach, it took me 2 minutes. And I'm like, okay. So it's on there. So you can get on the Ohio University Lancaster website. So when we start having our fundraisers or things like that, and we're going to really push to have it, we're going to try to have it there at Beavers Field. It'll probably be a 1 or 2 day thing. And each week each time we'll try to have somebody different.
I know we talked earlier about Beavers Field, but that's an amazing park.
It is. It just continues to change. Back in 1987, when they first purchased the land, it was a cornfield. And Al Beavers, the owner, it was grass up until, I think, 8 years ago. It was all grass. Now we got a unique field where it's a turf infield. And then 2 years ago, he took the mound off, and now it's a state-of-the-art mound that's got this rubberized tiring underneath of it. It's a regular mound, but it has the feel of turf. And my guys used to hate not being able to throw with turf shoes, because Coach Beavers changed it this year to you had to throw off the mound with turf shoes. So our guys didn't like it. They complained. So they wanted their metal, or they wanted the molded. Well, now they prefer to throw with their turf shoes on. They said they get a better grip,
right,
and it allows their lead leg to slide just enough to where they don't have to work their arm for the curveball so much.
So, I mean, I haven't played baseball for a long, long time, but when did you know that that's what you really wanted to do? 'Cause
Oh,
you're pretty energized about baseball, I could tell, but when did you know that, man, this is what I want to do down there? And I mean, being an intervention specialist at Forest Rose, but
well, when I got hurt, I was really afraid that there would be nothing for me. Like I was really afraid that baseball would be over. There would be no baseball. There'd be no sports, period. And it scared me. And I got into special education because I've got a learning disability. And some schools I've heard people talk about, they just pass players through because they're good players. They want them to go. And at the high school level, I stayed on kids to make sure that they got the grades. Well, at OUL, we have study tables. And my guys absolutely love the study tables. I don't know how much studying they get done, but it's more of a team building policy. So I got into, as I got older, I really wanted to do more and more with baseball. I'll travel around and I do camps. I go back to Barnesville. Barnesville has us come and do a camp. I take a few of the players with us. They got the best pizza there, so they give us pizza. But I truly enjoy every aspect of baseball because it's not one game. There's a game. There's numerous games inside of baseball. It's like a giant chess match with things that you try to control, but obviously you can't control the bounce of the ball or when your pitcher's having a good day. So it's
anybody you idolized, a baseball player growing up?
Growing up, well, with us being from the Ohio Valley, Bill Mazeroski, I got to meet him. What a great guy. He was super. But I played the outfield all the way through, so I enjoyed all of the big guys out in the outfield. Mickey Mantle, Roger Maris, Babe Ruth. He never played the outfield, but he pitched, and then but I always wanted. I never wanted to be at the pro level because I watched these college kids play, and it's amazing how hard they play to try to get to that next level.
Sure.
And it's
favorite Major League Baseball team?
The Mets, New York Mets. I'm a huge Syracuse fan, Mets fan, and I liked that team when they won it in 1988. They were awful, but they just seemed to win, and that was like our high school team. Yeah. We were just a bunch of guys that just showed up to play baseball. So when they got inside the white lines, man, they just played. And now the American League, I like the Red Sox. Yeah. So
not the Yankees, huh?
No, and of all the greats, probably my favorite player would be Lou Gehrig.
Oh yeah.
He truly played baseball because he loved baseball, and that's why I do what I do. I absolutely love baseball.
I had an uncle that played minor league ball. This is back in like the 30s, and he had a baseball signed by the 27 Yankees, and it was laminated. So and it sat in his cup, and I thought maybe I'll get that. Yeah, I forget what it was sold for, but it was. Time has flown by, Brad. I mean, it's absolutely flown by. Advice to young kids coming up that maybe are playing 2 or 3 sports, and there's always you should just play one sport. But,
no, as a college coach, as recruiting, I tell them to play multiple sports. That way, a coach that's recruiting them sees that they are not just fixated on one, and it shows they're multiple talented, or they're talented in multiple areas. And then if you do decide to play baseball, ice and stretch your arms. Always take care of your arms, because once that goes, it's done.
It's well, I tell you, Brad, it's been great having you here, and you had a great year. You got the #1 seed in the ORCC, and had a great record. What was your record again?
We are 10-7 right now, 9-1 in the league.
Okay, so. And the tournament's going to be held May 4th and 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we'll get you back on, and I appreciate you coming in and talking about baseball. And
I can do that. I can do that anytime.
doing the stuff you do at Forest Roses. Dave Maciosi is a good friend of mine too. I talked to him, and Dr. David OUL. Cindy Hilbury is another good friend, and of course John. But what you do is outstanding.
Thank you.
Appreciate it very much. And
I appreciate
we'll get you back on.
All right.
We'll get you back on. Maybe do you do spring training? Have you?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll get you back on, and,
Okay.
and this would be great. But
All right.
I appreciate you coming in.
I appreciate you guys having us.
Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Lancaster Perspective. I'm Mike Miller, and remember, until we meet again, let's make a difference.